from the positive to the negative. Your Los Angeles Clippers, Rachel.
But they're
They are
mine now?
Clippers.
We just discussed my Washington Wizards.
No. You have been adopted by the LA Clippers. You are a disciple of Ty Lue.
I do.
You are a Lawrence Frank acolyte.
Yep.
You are a believer in this Clippers team. We're taping this on Monday, so we don't know what happened.
Clippers team?
No, whatever. The Clippers in general.
Maybe not this Clippers team.
We're taping this before Monday's game against Atlanta, but going into this game, they lost 4 in a row, 5 of the last 6. Their defense stinks. Their defense is so bad, it is inexplicable how bad their defense is. How bad is it? Let me throw some numbers at you. Last year, they were 3rd in defensive rating. They were a defensive-minded team. This year, entering Monday's game, they are 26th. They're 26th in defensive rating. How does a team that returns most of its core go from 3rd to 26? Explain that to me.
2 things. First of all, Norm Powell.
We can get to Norm Powell. I thought they missed Norm Powell more offensively than defensively.
I just think
maybe
they miss him.
Maybe it was the mindset.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I think they
had a great year in Miami too.
Exactly. I think they miss him a lot, all over the floor, in the locker room. I think that is not a small piece of it. Also, when you told me, you texted me, you said, "Oh, I want to talk about the Clippers too," and I said, "Great. I'll spend the next few hours coming up with synonyms for the word old." So I have elderly, mature, aged, long in the tooth. Unfortunately, when you get to the second row of synonyms, it says bygone, past. The Clippers have to hope that row doesn't
I always like
crop
spry.
up yet.
Have you ever heard like a young person described as spry?
No, it's always old
older
people.
They're spry.
Yeah, but
team.
no one's describing the Clippers spry right now. Their pace is just, I mean, the game tips off in a few hours, and they might not get there for another 5 or 6. I mean, it has been really rough, and I think that is the other answer to your question, which is, yes, James Harden played, for him, actually pretty strong defense, passable for the rest of the league, but definitely some of the best defensive effort we have seen out of him. There is a point where you age past being able to do that. And I think when the collective is not pulling it together, when there is no Norm Powell to bark in your ear, when Bradley Beal has been, sadly, a turnstile for a lot of this season so far, when it collectively doesn't feel like you can make that much of a difference, history has said James Harden will not try to make that much of a difference. And you just have guys, Chris Paul is not what Chris Paul used to be.
Those numbers for Chris Paul,
I mean,
oh God, they're ugly.
You know the
ugly.
expression, play till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
This may be it. And look, it's great. He gets to retire as a Clipper. But, Kawhi, as we sit here...
Are you surprised they've been that bad? Like, he wasn't terrible with the Spurs last year. He played every game.
Yes, I am surprised. I'm surprised with all of it. But I do think there is a collective wear and tear here. Each one of those guys in terms of their age, I think feeding off of each other. Oh, one guy's slow, the other guy's slow. Again, no one on this team, except for maybe Kawhi, can go out there and feel like I can make the difference because there are so many other pieces that are dragging the whole ship down, to use a Clippers analogy. And Kawhi is hurt again.
But he wasn't hurt before this. Like, he
No,
was
I know.
playing in these games.
No, I know.
And they were still 26, 27 the defensive efficiency.
Do you think there is a collective drag on the organization, given all of the stuff that broke in training camp and sort of the Steve Ballmer and Kawhi of it all?
Very possible. I think personnel is a bigger issue. And what doesn't surprise me is that all of these sort of bargain basement signings haven't really worked because they almost never work. They're almost always great in a press release, great at media day, but then when it plays out, you start to realize why these guys were available. Like, Chris Paul was available because he's 40 years old and isn't the Chris Paul of old. Bradley Beal was available because there was only a couple of teams looking to sign him after being waived by Phoenix, and his numbers have been, Bradley Beal shooting 37.5% from 3 entering this game on Monday. Chris Paul at 24%.
Yeah.
That's bad. And this is where, like, John Collins has been fine. I don't think he's a problem.
Yeah.
But they really believed, like, when they did this deal to trade Powell, they're like, all right, we're going to get Bradley Beal too. They knew that. That was fait accompli. Like, we're going to get John Collins. It's going to take some pressure off Kawhi in that front court because he can play 4, sometimes 5. And we're going to get Bradley Beal, and he's going to give us like 75% of what Norman Powell gave us there. I mean, I do think they underestimated what Norman Powell brought to the locker room.
Yeah.
The swagger that he played with. You remember last year when
of
he's
course.
like, we don't need Paul George.
Right.
Like,
Paul George who, he said.
And we're going to be better defensively. What? He was right.
No, he said addition by subtraction.
I know.
That was a direct quote.
100%. And he was pointing the defensive end mostly. I think people were like, well, Paul George is a complete defensive player. He's a versatile guy.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're good. And they were. He talked the talk and he walked the walk there. They miss him. He's been great in Miami so far this season. I just think they're really old. They're really old. They're not especially athletic. The older guys they got have looked even older than they did in previous years. They turn the ball over a lot, and when they turn it over, they give up points almost every time. They don't get back on transition defense. Wasn't that a big, like, those T-shirts that they were wearing? Remember, like, the whole, like, I think it was F-U-C-K. I think it was, like, remember that? They had, like that was transition. There was a whole, it was all about
Jeff Van Gundy defense thing.
I'm actually shocked. Jeff Van Gundy, still a great defensive mind. This team being a Jeff Van Gundy team being this bad.
And Ty Lue.
Yeah.
They both have to be, like, tearing their hair out.
It's a good point. Like, do you believe that there's a lingering effect to the Kawhi Ballmer saga that's still kind of hanging over this team?
I just think it's a lot of things at once. And again, that's sort of my analogy for the whole team. You've got a lot of things going on at once. So it is very hard for anyone individually to be like, man, if I go out and kill it, it's going to be enough. And I think that translates too into sort of the aspiration stuff and the Kawhi of it all and all of that. It just feels like there's so much dragging everybody down. I mean, this team really leans into its water analogies with the way they do the in-game video when they've got that big wave and they've got the thunderstorm. Yeah. They feel like they're drowning. I mean, and I'm not sure who's going to pick them up out. I mean, the contract with Kawhi that we've been talking about ad nauseum.
The aspiration contract?
It feels like.
Oh, no, not that. Okay. That's up.
The current contract. So they've got one more guaranteed year there, right? They've got one more year at 50, basically, 50.3 million. You know, when does this become a teardown? Do you start trying to get rid of pieces at the trade deadline? Does anyone want these pieces at the trade deadline? Do you just wait?
Oklahoma City has they have 2026 pick. Do they have this pick coming? I should have this information on hand, but Oklahoma City's still got one of their picks moving forward.
I'm not even talking about tanking, although that's an element of it.
When you say tear down, I'm thinking, you know.
Well, I mean, eventually, sure, tanking, but I just almost mean there's a point where young players, hungry players, are going to give you more than some of these guys.
Well, we're at that point with Cam Christie.
Well,
Cam Christie's a better fit than Chris Paul. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. I mean, regardless of, yes, direction of the franchise, et cetera, tanking, whatever. But I even mean right now on this roster. And maybe you bring in some other young guys who at least are cheaper and are hungrier. Because you're just not getting that hunger. You're not getting that from any of these older guys on the team.
It's very uninspired, you know, how they're playing.
And I do. I feel you're right. I am a Ty Lue devotee. I think he's one of the best X and O coaches in the league and one of the best motivators I've seen in the league. And if he can't do it, I'm not seeing it happen.
I just don't know what their options are at this point because they're not in a position because of what they owe draft-wise.
Right.
Just
I'm looking
reboot
that up
the
now.
thing. It's not going to. That doesn't help them rebuild in the future. It's concerning that they've been this mediocre with Kawhi Leonard playing in the majority of their games. It's concerning to see Bradley Beal and Chris Paul being unable to replace the production of Norman Powell.
Yep.
It's concerning to see a team with like this many plus defenders. Like Chris Dunn is a plus defender. Kawhi Leonard, when he's playing, is a plus defender. Zubac is a plus defender.
Yep.
And they're sitting there at 26
right.
in the league. And a lot of that is, you know, the whole transition defense stuff. Like they can't get back, but I don't know. I mean, I think the question is it's both like, do they go that route and try to shake up the roster a little bit? Or, I mean, just what else can you do? Just kind of plow through and hope that this defense, which still has a lot of the same pieces, gets better over the course of a season.
Well, Dunn is back in the starting lineup. Yeah. I went to the Thunder Clippers game that was here. Was it maybe 3 or 4 games, 2 games ago? Something like that.
Shea loves playing. They said that on the Netflix thing. Shea loves playing the Clippers.
I mean,
like that's a guy that doesn't get like, I've been working on something with him.
Yeah.
That's a guy, like, no, I don't even think, like winning a championship was great, but even that, it barely moves the it just doesn't move the needle with him. Like his heart rate stays the same. Going to LA to play the Clippers, that's one of the things that picks up the heart rate.
Yes.
Like like knowing that they moved off of him, like and didn't believe him. I think that definitely sticks in the root of him. Yeah.
I mean, it's just how much this one trade has crippled this franchise. What year was that trade?
Oh God, now 2000. So Shea's first year was the bubble year, so 2019.
So 2000, I'm looking, 2026. I think they have a 2 from Memphis.
But they owe one more pick to Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma's got, whether it's a swap or a pick.
There's a swap that involves Brooklyn. I mean, it's like one of these, look, it's like a whole paragraph of swaps. And OKC has the right to swap 2027 first round pick.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the one they still have, yeah.
And Philly still has the right to swap its 2029 first round pick.
Yeah. All is well in LA right now. All is going well. Look, they're old, they're unathletic. They thought they could squeeze more out of the Kawhi James Harden tandem. It doesn't look like it's going in that direction. Zubac is still good. He's young. It's one of the few young pieces you can still build around, but I just don't see how they turn this around. I don't see a team that I thought fully healthy they could contend and compete with the Clippers with the Nuggets and the Thunder in the West. I don't see that now.
I don't think. Did you really think they compete with the Thunder?
I think Kawhi's at his best is still one of the best playoff performers in the game.
Yeah, but
it's been a long time since he's been that.
And
he's
he's got to play. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think that the Lakers, I pegged the Lakers going into the season at to finish around number 4. I think
the Clippers,
that is
the Lakers.
The Lakers.
Oh,
I think that is higher than a lot of people had them. And who knows if they'll end up there, a little higher, a little lower. I still think watching this team, that's the right target mark. I thought the Clippers would end up being around number 6. I don't even think that's reachable anymore.
Yeah, play-in. I mean, they barely got out of the play-in last year. They needed a couple of big wins at the end of the year to get into that mix, and they might be right in that play-in mix again this year.